Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Coins Alert channel. This is Rich making another movie about XRP today, as always. Today, no matter where you are in the world, I hope you're all having a great day. We're going to talk about XRP. A movie I made a few days ago talked about the PayPal Mafia. Some of you told me in the comments that I should talk about it more. I'm going to show you this movie clip now. I want to remind you of what David Schwartz said about having more than one world reserve currency. I think David may have told us the plan without actually telling us the plan. I believe he was talking about XRP and XLM when he said that. As a digital asset investor, I've always wondered if the founders of PayPal gave money to OpenCoin, which is now Ripple and later Stellar, to make their original goal of making a world reserve digital asset come true. The Everything app is coming to X. Listen to this clip. That was in the early days of PayPal. That was in 1999, which is almost 20 years ago. On our first t-shirt, it said, PayPal is the new world currency. There was this idea that we would make a new coin that would work all over the world. We need to be very careful about things like who is in charge of the money system here and what rules and laws they will use to govern interactions. PayPal seems to have gone off that road pretty far. They've banned me from PayPal. It seems to be going towards social credit and making it harder to do business. Also, that's pretty scary. That's something I could do. This is how you should think about it. Elon Musk doesn't like the way PayPal is going. He's also making the all-in-one app for X. I believe Elon is too. There is likely also Stellar working with Ripple in the background. I believe this was all part of a big plan that was made a long time ago. I'm interested to see where this goes next. Now, let's talk about world reserve money again. Just one more news. It's all set up. With XRP, major banks started the Ripple Global Payment Steering Group in 2016. Bank of America, Standard Chartered, Santander, Unicredit, Westpac, RBC, Royal Bank, and other banks are behind it. So Ripple has been setting up payment systems all over the world for the past 10 years. Now, I think they were first thinking about XRP as a world reserve currency, but now that they have RLUSD, I believe it could become the world's main currency. It will just be moved around the world very quickly and cheaply through XRP, which will act as a bridge. I believe Ripple may have changed its mind because it's tough to get banks to agree to crypto, but they will let a safe coin in. In the future, they will use cryptocurrency to move that fixed coin. Don't forget that this story came out just 5 months ago to tell us that Interledger Protocol will link 130 countries. Interledger is a project of Ripple. More and more people are interested in Interledger Protocol. It's also a big deal that Ripple is connected to the IMF. They have ties to many countries around the world through the IMF. And the IMF is like a shock to most of these countries because they depend on it for money. Then you add the best bank, the bank of all banks, the main bank of the world. It was clear that everything was in place for XRP to become the world's bridge currency and RLUSD to become the world's reserve currency. The US dollar could also be a world reserve currency. Some of the value will move over the Stellar network, but not all of it. That's where I think this will go. Stellar, NUSDC, and XLM will be there. RLUSD, and XRP will be there for you. Brad, on the other hand, I think planned this. Brad always gets things done for the bank when they need them, the same reason they change their minds about custody. More towards tokenization, more towards staying focused on cross-border payments. Now AI as well, and the launch of a stable coin. It's all coming together. I'll tell you a quick story by background. One of the first banks that Ripple signed. So today we have a product in market we're releasing version 4. When we launched version 1, which is always an exciting time for a tech company, you release a product, it's version 1. We launched that product. We were partnered with one of the largest banks in the Middle East, and we went to market and we went live, and we got a call from a very upset Middle Eastern banker saying, wait a minute, people can see my transactions. I don't want people to see my transactions. So look, blockchain is powerful, and a public ledger can be leveraged to make transactions. But banks, if every SCB transaction was written to a public ledger, would SCB be excited about that? The answer is no, I'll tell you very certainly. The nature of how we have evolved our technology, yes, some of it, XRP is a public open ledger, a different part of Ripple's technology that connects banks to the liquidity solutions. These are private, think about it almost as a private temporary blockchain between two banks. It's cryptographically signing the transaction, holding it in escrow, and releasing it at the same time, so you never have a situation where a transaction doesn't complete. But the point I would make is those who espouse this idea of, look, all transactions should be open. I look at that and I think, that is not the real world. We can talk about the origins, particularly around Bitcoin and to some degree other tokens, has been this idea of, hey, we're going to circumvent governments. We don't want the government involved. We're going to circumvent banks. Look, Ripple, we come at it from exactly the opposite point of view. Governments aren't going away. By extension, banks are definitely not going away. We can allow banks to enable an internet of value. If you want to allow an internet of value, you have to connect the repositories of value. The repositories of value are the banks. We want to work with the banks, with financial institutions, with payment companies, with Linlin Pay or PayPal or fill in blank. And take notice, Brad even said PayPal in that video clip. But what they were trying to do is they're trying to fix the banking system. And while they're fixing the banking system, they're also leveling the playing field. They're connecting the unbanked to the banking system at the same time. But then he talked about the private record, and a lot of people always said, the XRP is worth so much more on the secret ledger. I don't think that's true. I think what you're seeing on the private ledger is testing going on. And that could be where those glitches come from every once in a while. These bugs show up on the trades in the end. You think, holy crap, look at that. XRP just glitched over 10K. So once XRP is done with testing, it will be available on both the public and private ledgers. People will buy it on the market and trade it on the private ledger. So the price will be the same on both. If that was the case, there's nowhere in this world where XRP is worth more than what you're paying for it on the exchanges right now. But I need to tell you that testing is still going on. And maybe XRP will reach those high prices that everyone talks about once it's done being tested. But I wanted to talk about that subject for a little longer than usual because many of you keep asking me about the PayPal gang. I think everything is connected, and I think we are about to see everything push forward like never before. All of a sudden, big news is coming from all of these banks that have been working with Ripple behind the scenes for years. But I want to warn you that a lot of what you see and hear is not true. Behind closed doors, the price is the same, and Brad catered to all the bank's needs along the way. And even that clawback feature, I think that's something that the banks wanted, but you cannot claw back XRP. Forbes article states Wall Street is ready for Ripple and XRP. Wall Street is pushing for Ripple XRP to win a spot exchange traded fund. And the banks, they're ready to go all in on XRP. Grayscale applied for the first XRP ETF on the New York Stock Exchange yesterday. Certainly feels like to us, there's a command from the top saying there's going to be more crypto clarity. You're not bullish enough. That comes from Good Morning Crypto. Listen to this. That often, so let me choose your brands. As part of your assets, this is one of the things you need to do to make sure it stays in business. Do well. I see two main trends here. The first is the blockchain trend. There are $150 billion worth of cryptocurrency ETFs, which is pretty good. I don't know if it's the most popular launch ever, but it's pretty good. The BlackRock ETF, IBIT, is the biggest one. It trades on NASDAQ. Please give us a spin on that. The other trend I see is ETFs that are based on options in general. Going to talk about crypto first. There's still a lot more money in active assets, but more new money is going into ETF assets. Also, it's very clear that out of every $3 going that way. So we can see that NASDAQ is still building demand for ETFs, but it's not just NASDAQ. There are other big service providers out there. I just think that this trend of inactive will keep going. You need active to marry that, though, so you don't get too focused on active alone. I think this is a unique time to talk about how active can still play a part. Sometimes a whole industry grows up around something like digital crypto, and now we might have a better idea of what the rules are for what it will be. Do you pay attention? This man said that $2 out of every $3 is going into stocks and bonds. I think the rise in Bitcoin value after the launch of the XRP ETF and the end of the lawsuit will look like child's play.